He would joke about the return of the Mexican pizza, but as his readers know, he doesn't have any Taco Bell material. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. The choice was getting on. Mandate. Get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. We love that about you, right, Gina Grad?
That's right.
Handball, Brian.
You don't want to be the drunk girl crying at the party. Let's get it together.
All right. So I had this thought. I was talking to my daughter the other day. She says she's going down to the DMV to take her written.
Oh,
nice.
Or something. I think you do the written online now, but you can then go down and get in line and get the permit.
you're not cattle shoved into that fucking room anymore to take your test?
No, they used to go down there, wait in line, get your test.
Go in that sad room.
They'd put you. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I took a test for my motorcycle once, and then I took one for my car. I felt like I was in a corral with those desks that had the chair attached to them, and then you'd sit there, and they put the timer on.
And they are
blinders.
Yeah, they are watching you.
Yeah,
which is weird. How they can do it on home.
Do you have to be on FaceTime?
Yeah.
I mean,
well. I mean, you can go to school online now. You can get an MBA online now. You can do traffic school. I used to teach traffic school. You do traffic school online now, which is like everyone's just in the kitchen making themselves a BLT while the class is going on. Fine. But, you know, we always talk about school and education, and why aren't they being taught how to plunge their toilet or balance their checkbook? Instead, they're teaching them all this crap they're never going to use in the real world. What about the real practical stuff? Yes. What about some more practical curriculum in the education? But then I started thinking about the DMV. And DMV, you know, it's all about safe distances. Also, you know, you're in LA. You know, you're supposed to leave like one car length for every 2 miles an hour you're traveling or something. You can't be going 40 miles an hour down the Ventura and leave 7 acres of everyone the human. Everyone's just going to slide in front of you. You got to bump draft everyone. But anyway, I was thinking about it sort of philosophically, and I was just sitting in traffic on PCH this morning, and I thought, you know what they ought to do? And this would be the greatest help in any community that suffered from traffic, but especially Los Angeles, because I'm a little more selfish. I live here. You know, I've said a million years, we're always talking about public transportation, a second story on the 405 freeway, blah, 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 blah. But it's really about flow, because as we talk about, much of the stuff we're talking about is somebody's in the left lane and they're going 51 and they should be doing 65, you know, going up the 405. Right. Everyone drops 23 miles an hour versus going down. That's a flow thing.
Right.
That's
daily lament.
Yes, you got to drive that. We don't need a second story on the 405. We need people.
Double the assholes.
Yes. We need to understand that when you're going uphill, if you do not depress the accelerator pedal another 3/8 of an inch, you will slow down from 65 to 52. You're going to have to adjust for that. There's a digital display right in front of your eyes that will alert you to the fact that you've slowed significantly.
You should be able to feel it.
So
feel my wind as I pass by you.
As I say all the time, the canyons, I don't know if it's Topanga or Temescal or whatever it's, or Sunset. Sunset spills out onto PCH. Everyone in the right lane has a right turn lane. You can turn, you can merge, you can zipper in. Nobody uses that lane. They wait till the traffic stops.
I now think about you every time we pass that intersection.
You don't need to
That's
wait.
Adam's lane.
You have your own lane. Just turn right. Yeah. You know, let's go. Let's flow. Let's flow. If you float, and as I sit there waiting to turn right, most of the time cutting through the gas station that's on the corner. But
that's a good move.
Yes. As I wait, but it gets backed up so far you can't get into the gas station.
Oh, because
you're not
even.
There are 14 cars backed up. If the person in the lead sort of flowed, you have your own lane. Go in. The traffic's not coming very fast the other direction. Just go for it. But here's how I know it'll work. I never wait more than a hummingbird's heartbeat. When I finally get my shot to get out of there, I just go. Use the runoff lane and merge in.
Lane.
Right. people getting off the freeway, not knowing what yield means versus stop. They'll stop getting off the freeway. Don't stop. It says yield. Just zipper your way in. You're going to have some runoff. So I thought, what if when we licensed people, we took 20 minutes and just talked to them about flow? We'd have an elderly Asian man and a gi doing Tai Chi. You know what I mean? Just talking about energy and flow and energy and flow. And I started, as I was driving here, I started thinking about the concept, just basic concepts, like when you're along the freeway and there are other cars coming onto the freeway. The zipper effect. You go, then they go. You go, then they go. Which some people stop and let 3 cars go in a row in front of them. Others don't let anybody in. Just the flow, just the zipper flow, just the alternate zipper flow.
Wait, sorry, I don't want to move on from that yet. I think you're right. I think a lot of people don't know what yield means, especially if you're maybe a visitor to this nation.
Yes.
I think you're absolutely right. There should be a picture of a zipper.
Yes.
Because everyone, that's international. Zipper.
I know for a fact that people don't know what a yield sign means because there's a lot of like roundabouts, especially out in like Palm Springs area. People just stop and wait, stop, and
people
it's like
very scared.
Go.
The flow would be all encompassing, and it would hit like 10 major points. And we would say, if you're doing something that's against the flow, you will be ticketed with a flow charge. If you are driving and you realize, oh, I was supposed to turn left, and you're in a busy intersection, you do that move where you stop in the left lane and try to wedge your way. It's like, bitch, go through the signal, make a left on the first side street, make another left, and you'll be right where you want to be. We will ticket those people. This person I saw today on PCH, this person drives me insane. You have 2 lanes going one way on PCH. You have 2 lanes going the other, and then you have a full lane in the middle. And it's got arrows going turn left, turn right, but
lots
that's
of places to turn.
So many
gas
people
stations.
slow down in the left lane, get half their car into that center turn, and come to a stop.
Hanging in the lane.
Stop in the middle, bitch. Don't hang out in the left lane. People are stopping. Now there's the move where the person tries to get around you, but they're kind of swerving into the right lane.
You've defeated the entire purpose of that lane.
Yes. They don't seem to know because they don't flow. Just the flowing. I was also driving here and saw my least favorite 2 human beings on the planet.
Us?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I passed you guys on the way here. The guys on the 10 speed who do hey, we're part of traffic in the left lane, riding in the left lane in the middle of the street. It's cute, but you're going 19 miles an hour and we're going 41.
Now we're going at parade speed.
Just move it over.
Yes,
just move it over. That's a cycling flow thing. There's the pedestrian flow thing, which is jaywalking tickets will be eliminated. Hey, if it's wide open and you're in between blocks, like, this warehouse has a cross on the corner and one, but if you're in the middle of the block and there's nobody around, that's not a ticket. You may run across. If you're doing that move where you're walking across and putting your hand up and like stopping, you are getting a fucking jaywalking ticket for that. That's a flow. Yeah. That's a faux pas.
Well done.
That's real
That's
good.
right. So, there's also a side for the cops. No more pulling people off on the side of the freeway on the shoulder with the rubbernecking, and everyone's got to know what's going on. Pull it off. You got to hit that first ramp, get down, get the fuck off that freeway. Let's see. I had a weird. You guys tell me Waze. I love Waze, but I did find a little problem with them today, and you guys tell me how it works. To me, the only beef I really have with Waze is they don't do the turn it around.
Oh, yeah.
You're going the wrong direction. They'll go, turn left on Sutton Street. And then
there's no flipping it.
I just want hey, man, your back is to your destination.
Yes.
Like, turn it around. Now, if you want to do a U-turn, that's up to you.
Yes.
But I'm saying it is behind
Get back to where you were.
Yes.
I pulled down onto PCH. I pulled on there about 10:30 in the morning, and I got about a half mile down PCH, heading here, and the traffic stopped, and it just came to a stop, and I checked Waze, and Waze said it's going to be an hour and a half, and you're going to be late for reasonable doubt. It didn't say that, but
That's
implied
very
that.
specific.
It was implied.
AI.
And so I thought, oh man, I wonder if I turn around and go back the other direction to Malibu Canyon, if I can cut through the canyon and get on the Ventura Freeway
Las
and
Virgenes.
go around that way. Yeah. Okay. So I kept hitting like renew Waze, and it kept going. It's an hour and a half or an hour and 29 minutes if you can use the diamond lane. I was like, well, that's not much. So I shut my phone off completely. I rebooted the phone. I hit it again, and it's like hour and a half. And I thought, I'm stopped. PCH is fucked, but the canyon behind me's got to be open. And I know that's about a 50-minute drive, but you're at an hour and a half here. So I hooked a U-turn, started going the other direction toward Pepperdine.
And once your car is facing that way.
Then I rebooted it. It was like, take Malibu Canyon.
Yeah.
I could have used that information.
Yeah, I think I'm assuming that in the interest of safety, Waze will not advise you to make a U-turn that it does not know for a fact is legal. Or in fact, you might be perfectly safe. Might be no cars for as far as the eye can see.
But maybe you should just go the fastest way is behind you. What you do with that.
So philosophical.
Turn into a gas station.
Well, it's
That
the
is
same
up to
thing
you.
they tell you on the plane. Remember, the nearest exit might be behind you. It's obviously something we're all coached up on hearing.
Right.
Now, let's examine the fundamental flaw here, which is you don't check Waze before you leave. You check Waze once you're on the road. That's a mistake.
I check
rookie
Waze.
mistake.
Yeah, you're right. I check Waze frequently before I leave. In the case of when I was going to LAX a couple of weeks ago, I did check it, and thank God I did, because the 39-minute drive was an hour and a half. And I checked that an hour before it was time to leave. When I go from there to here, I check it when I get in the car, which is dumb, but it's almost always a good flow. It's always a good flow. There's just a difference between the 405 and the 110. There's two like different routes, but shit happens on PCH. Yep. And I should have checked it. I do always kind of know that if the shit goes down, I can always turn my back and go to the canyon. But you're right. Should check it before you walk out the door.
Well, you don't even have to do that. I mean, you could take it a step further. Ways you can plan it a week in advance. Like what would the traffic be like at 3 a.m. on a random Thursday? And it'll tell you.
Well, probably won't.
I love that, but according to Waze, I need to leave for Huntington Beach about 10 p.m. the night before.
You should leave now.
Yeah.
Really, what is it saying?
No, I think it was, if I wanted to get there at 7:15.
You want to catch Dawson's set.
That's right, of course. I'm supposed to leave at 4:30 maybe or 5.
Oh, really? Oh, man.
But I'm in the valley. Oh, you're going to be sort of closer to me.
Yeah.
Let's double check that.
All right, double check that.
Chris, I'll be at your place at 6.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on over.
Two more flow issues, flow tickets. If anyone is selling bouquets right off the freeway off-ramp at Forest Lawn, you don't get to do that anymore. People are
fucks up the
stopping,
flow.
and you're doing commerce with people who are in their car and I'm behind them. So that's a flow issue. Of course, the old favorite, if it steers, it clears. Yep. If you get in a little fender bender and your car will drive, pull it off to the shoulder. It's another flow. Let's get a flow-based economy going. Let's focus on flow.
Yeah.
Let's we don't have a traffic czar, which drives me insane.
Because you won't throw your hat in the ring.
But we need a traffic czar. They need to work on flow. And the deal is this. Listen, folks who live in any city, tunneling through the pass. Well, Elon has given up on that.
Yeah, are we done with that?
He's done.
The boring company?
I think he's done with that. The second story, the monorail, whatever it is. We're talking about.
It all sounds nice.
It sounds nice. It's all trillions of dollars and at least a decade off. something we could start tomorrow is Flow. I could get us 15% faster.
We have to wait
if
for
everyone
anybody.
just sort of bought into this Flow, we'll put it up on the things. We'll get Eddie Vedder to like do an even flow type of song about it, you know.
Yeah, he's a sellout. He'll do
Rich
it.
Banks will Lynch will work the lyrics a little. We'll get Eddie to do kind of a PSA. We'll
good.
put it up on all the freeway signs, and we could all just get the fuck along. Because if you think about
It's empowering.
You have a dream.
80% of the wild slowdown shit is always someone in front of you doing something stupid.
Yes.
It's not really a tree has fallen and blocked the street. It's just somebody who's not flowing.
That's true. And anecdotally, I can tell you on the 101, I think we give too much of a hard time, and I know it's a controversial statement, to people like texting and driving, because I'm starting to see that those people are capable. Whenever I pull up to someone on the 101, it's a very old, very short person with glasses looking straight ahead. They're the one causing the problem, not the young folks kind of moving and shaking.
What's the Huntington Beach drive time?
I would pad this a little, but it says an hour and a half.
Okay.
So now we're getting better.
All right, we have a new
That
Rich
is
Banks
impossible.
Yeah, that's.
song.
I'll leave earlier.
I have another Rich Banks song. Wow.
Another Elton John song. It's worth way through the catalog.
Goodbye, Triple G.
Oh my God.
Though we never saw you at all, the bra we took to hold you up was stronger than a bridge.
It's true.
They spilled out of their brassiere and gave you some back pain. If you worked out on a treadmill, they'd slap you in the face.
Also true.
And it seems to me that to reduce your huge cans is a sin. Those jugs got into the room a minute before you walked in. I would like to see them, but now you've got a kid. Your cans got shut down long before your OnlyFans started.
What could have been?
Awesome. I will tell you this. Everybody, that was great. Everybody, and I mean everybody, reached out to me. Oh, you should do a photo shoot. You should do boudoir photos. You should do this. And I thought, yes, I agree. There should be something memorializing.
never got a
they
text
were
back, but okay.
they were fucking magnificent. You should see them now. They're awesome. But they were magnificent. And I thought, you know what? I don't have an Alexa in the house. Because I don't want people listening in. I don't like it. I like to keep my shit kind of private. And there is no way I'm putting those pictures on my phone because anything can be hacked into. So this is going to sound odd, but I'd like to thank Adam Ray.
Go on.
Because for a random wedding present, he sent me a really awesome Polaroid camera. And I thought, we're going analog.
Wow.
So the night before my surgery, I took the hottest pictures, naked
Prove
pictures.
it.
And they're analog in a secured setting. And you're gonna
In a
have
vault.
to dig and dig and dig to find them, but they're not on my phone. But they are fucking amazing.
If it means killing Andy, I mean, things have to be done.
Did he send you that for this purpose?
No, it was just a wedding present.
It's just a post that said you know what to do.
Well, maybe he'd spoken to you
No.
off the air.
But I thought I'll take Polaroids.
Yeah.
And you know what? For my first reveal at the doctor's office, because it's still very Nightmare Before Christmas. Who's the girl with all the stitches?
Sally?
Yeah, I look very Sally under the shirt. But I still wanted to see him, so I had Andy bring the Polaroid camera. Because again, I don't think this should be on your phone. It's not safe.
No, I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
Maybe like people going back to vinyl.
That's right.
Maybe there's going to be a return.
Tessa has a Polaroid camera, not for her breasts, but for her little
should
friends.
hope
Her
She actually-
Oh.
No.
Yeah, I was on body parts.
No, they like to make fun little kid
Yeah,
Polaroid
I
cameras.
think
She
it's a
fucking
great
loves
idea.
because it's analog.
It's
Kids
really
love
fun.
analog
Yeah,
things.
it's right away. You can hold it. It was really fun.
I was thinking about Kirk Cameron, and I was thinking about remembering, and I have a vague recollection, but I think it was from this sitcom. And Chris, you have to look it up You have to look up the actor who played this guy. And then there was a story that this guy went missing, but maybe it was another actor from that generation. He like went to the woods and went missing and maybe killed himself or something.
Oh my.
Or maybe this guy's still alive and he did stand up. But there was a character.
Died on stage.
Anywhere in the middle.
No, he went up in front of me in an open mic at the Improv in like 1988 or something like
What
that.
sitcom?
Well, he was on Growing Pains, but
Andrew Koenig.
Hold on.
did he play Boner?
Boner Stabone?
Who played Boner? Well, first off, I remember thinking,
Hell, you people talking?
back in the 80s, you could push across a character named Boner.
Oh yeah.
I
heard that was a source of contention on the morning show.
Yes.
The dump guy at the time.
Yes.
One of our many dump guys.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, you couldn't say Boner on morning radio
Yeah.
in the 2006. What? I was always looking at it and went, wow, they got that pushed past
Yeah.
the guys. His name is Boner.
Richard Stabone, they called him Boner. Boner Stabone. And
Yeah.
I do believe the Andrew is passed.
And so, like, if there's a character named Andrea McCuntoff,
Cunty McCuntoff.
we just call her Cunt and go
Sure.
like, her last
Oh,
name
it's
is
right there. Yeah.
And you were right. Koenig, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, was last seen in Vancouver, British Columbia on February 14th, 2010. Missed a scheduled
Valentine's
flight,
Day.
on February 16th, which was the last day he used his cell phone or conducted any banking. On the 25th, a group of friends and family found him dead in Vancouver Stanley Park. He was apparently hanged himself.
I told you, I remember it was a weird
Very
story
sad.
about
Yeah.
the guy wandering off
Yeah.
and killing himself somewhere.
Oy vey.
Yeah.
No recollection of that.
What year was that?
2010.
Okay. And was he the... No, the other guy I'm thinking about is the guy who played Skippy.
I knew
Yes.
it. They're very easily confused.
Skippy performed in front of me at the Improv on an open mic
there
a
you
million
go.
years ago. Where was Skippy
Skippy's from Family Ties, right?
I guess. And
Because he was in love with Mallory.
he must be doing stand-up
Mark
or
Price.
directing or something like that. But
Did Skippy, as we know him from the show, resemble a young balding Brian from the? Okay, I only say
Just
that because
the hair and the glasses.
I only
maybe?
say that because a coworker nicknamed me Skippy, and I never really got the
he had a
reference.
lot of hair and a lot of round glasses. But
He's with us.
I don't know. But Boner did
Growing
kill
pains.
himself at some
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
All right.
yeah,
So maybe
hanged.
Kirk's got some thoughts about Boner.
And didn't Kirk end up marrying his hot love interest from the show?
Yes.
Chelsea
Yes.
something.
Tor Page out of Michael J. Fox's
That's
playbook,
right.
who
That's
did the same thing.
the blonde.
And the marriage is still, they're 31 years
yes.
in. Kirk Cameron's 31
God
years
bless.
in. Michael J. Fox predated
Decades.
that. He must be
Would have been at least 85, at least.
he must be 37 years into that
Damn.
relationship.
Tracy Pollan, yeah.
Clean
Yeah.
living.
Yeah, it is clean living. All right.
When
so,
Boner went missing in 2010, Kirk Cameron released a statement. He said, "I'm praying for his family during this time of distress and for a safe return. Andrew, if you're reading this, please call me."
So, yeah, Boner was that. Also, I'm reading here, but this sounds interesting. Facts of Life co-stars Alan Thicke. Of course, he passed.
Facts of Life.
Oh, sorry. Did I screw that
Yeah.
up?
Growing Pains?
Oh, what did I say? Facts of
Facts of-
Life?
yeah.
Oh, I meant Growing Pains. Sorry. There's too many sitcoms, too many boners in my brain. Every time I blink, I see
New
another
book.
boner, Boners in my brain. Yeah. So the cast is Alan Thicke, Joanna Kearns, Leonardo DiCaprio.
He was like their cousin
Yeah.
Oliver, but it worked.
Right.
That was Christie's first crush. She wrote him a letter, and he wrote back.
Oh,
I mean, he wasn't like super famous at the time, so he wrote his fans back.
Love.
But they
He's
had a
such
daughter,
heartbeat.
too, right?
Heartthrob. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. But she didn't. She's not notable, as I guess is what we're saying. Yeah.
How was her name?
I don't remember, but
don't look at
DiCaprio did a lot of kid acting.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
Been acting for 45 years.
And a letter was written
Oh, Tracy
Yeah.
Gold.
and replied to.
And replied to.
And then Tracy Gold famously had an eating disorder,
Yes. And,
as I recall.
And there was another kid. There was
the little kid.
Ben Seaver, played by Jeremy Miller. Yeah, and Chrissy Seaver, she was the cousin Oliver because then they had a baby to sort of recharge the sitcom.
Christy, my wife, before she was Christy Bishop, had a lot of luck with childhood crushes because he got the letter from Leonardo DiCaprio, which was probably 11 years old at the time. For her sweet 16, she grew up in L.A., Christy did. So for her sweet 16, they had like a lunch at the Peninsula Hotel, right? And who happened to be there but her big crush at the time happened to be getting his car, Chris O'Donnell. And of course, they were like, "Oh, it's her 16th birthday. She's in love with you," and took a picture with her.
Batman, Robin.
Yeah,
would have
Robin.
been circa 94.
Wow,
That's good stuff.
Yeah, but like, what are the chances that your crush is right there getting his car in
Well,
LA?
if she's in LA and has lunch at the Peninsula, they're higher than the rest of us.
By the way, God bless her because she's looking at a 13-year-old Leonardo DiCaprio and a teen Chris O'Donnell.
Don't do that.
She sees a picture, Brian. I would have liked to bring her back to 12 years old and lay the pictures out.
Put a picture of me between DiCaprio and circa 93 O'Donnell.
Prettiest human alive.
We need the trifecta. We need young DiCaprio, young Chris O'Donnell, and young bald Brian.
It's like, Miss Clough, you're going to end up with one of these three heartthrobs.
She's got a 66% chance of living the dream. And who knows who the middle kid is? Maybe he's independently wealthy.
They could start an electric car company if that ever becomes the thing.
All right, let me hit Simply Safe. We'll let Chris look around for that. Amy's a chronic sleepwalker who lives near a 4-lane highway. A few months ago, she sleepwalked right out the front door, but the Simply Safe entry sensor on her front door was triggered, and the 95 decibel siren in the base station woke her up before she wandered out in the street. Amy says Simply Safe saved her life. This is a great company. Started organically, I think, on a college campus when they had like a buddy who got robbed and was looking for a security company. They couldn't find anything, so they invented their own. Peel and stick. The batteries last up to 10 years. Backed by the best 24/7 professional monitoring in the business. Less than $1 a day. No long-term contracts. You can try it out for 60 days. Risk-free to see if you like it. Customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/Adam. Go there today. Get the free indoor security camera plus 20% off interactive monitoring at simplysafe.com/Adam. All right, quick break. Back with Max Pata and trending topics right after this. Gina.
Yes.
Did you know that Kirk Cameron's sister was on
Candace Cameron.
Full House?
Yeah,
I
of
didn't
course.
know
That's
that.
DJ Tanner from way back.
The Hallmark girl.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I don't think so. I think Kirk and Candace's mom was their agent and was just really good, at doing her job. I mean, they were both hugely famous child stars.
Yeah. My mom didn't do a great job repping me early in
I
my
think that's
career.
the problem.
I wish she'd been a little more on her
Hands-on.
game. I could have been in a sitcom, getting some of that mailbox money.
Yeah.
All right, Max Pata, what do you got?
All right, so last night, one of the top trending topics was our 43rd president, George W. Bush. He was speaking at the George W. Bush Presidential Center in Dallas. It was an event on election integrity. He starts talking a little bit about Russia, Ukraine, and he makes a little slip up. So let's watch what he says.
In contrast, Russian elections are.
Stand by.
I don't know why it's playing.
Is he okay?
So much.
Is he having a stroke?
Yeah, that is not what happened.
There are slips. There are, mispronunciations. There's Freudian slips.
Sure.
This was, pardon the pun, a pretty big boner.
Oh, boy.
This wasn't one of those, oh, come on, you know what he meant, one of those
I didn't
things.
see it.
It's
I
beautiful.
saw it.
It's rough. It's everything. And let's take a look when it loads up. But a lot of people upset about it. I'll just give you that. Yeah.
I see this. Here we go.
In contrast, Russian elections are rigged. Political opponents are imprisoned or otherwise eliminated from participating in the electoral process. The result is an absence of checks and balances in Russia and the decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of of Ukraine. Iraq. Anyway. 75.
He's 75.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I like that he does the patented George Bush like.
Oh,
Yeah.
even he realized it. Big old foot in his mouth.
But you know what? How many times have we heard the phrase, invasion of, that's something he's heard more times than the invasion of Ukraine.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the Bush lied, people died thing.
That's a good one.
My argument for Bush during that whole thing was there was always a lot of are there WMDs and, blah, blah, blah. And they were talking about how Bush was corrupt and he knew it and blah, blah, blah. I always said, if he knew it, he would have dug a hole in the desert, put a few canisters of mustard gas, and then done a photo op. Like, aha, see? The fact that they never found anything means he didn't know it. He just fucked up.
Right.
But if he knew it, if that was something like he went, I know they don't have weapons of mass destruction. I want to invade anyway. Well, then the next question is, all right, so we're going to have to create some stockpile of something to discover. But yeah, that was Biden did it a few months ago with maybe Iraq or maybe Ukraine or whatever. He did one of those flip-flops too, but that was just passed off as it's got a little fog up there.
We're used to Corn Pop doing it.
Yes, this one maybe it was something he's been thinking about for a while.
Of all the countries he could have said, he picked the worst one.
Yes.
And really a lot of people upset with the laughter.
Oh.
The immediate, how can you laugh with all the people that died in 2003 when this was going on? And yeah, it's just kind of interesting because laughter is
This is why
when you're
response.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
This is why he's smart. I think he lives on a ranch. You want to live on a ranch. Because if you go out there and make these kind of faux pas, the ranch means you got acreage.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a fence. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a bunch of chicks dressed like Handmaid Tale or
Protesting
whatever. Just you're not going to get that big throng. The news van can pull up. There's nothing. You got a lot of acreage between the street and you.
The ranch forgives.
You can retreat to a ranch.
Yeah.
Split some wood.
Get some space to stretch out.
Get on your quad. Go 10 to the back nine.
And Biden has 4 years on Bush, age-wise.
Oh yeah.
Oofa.
Oofa.
Yeah. So he associated the slip up to his age, 75.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Next up, there's a Lyft driver that went viral last week. Or over the weekend. His name's James Bode. So he took a car and he had one of those dash cams up so you can see what's going on behind him. And he picked up a couple. So this is what happens. This woman gets in. You can go ahead and play it. So
he's got a Tesla, does he? Or what is it?
Unsure.
Oh, he's playing
Jackie,
vehicle.
How are you?
Is he?
White guy.
So she gets in.
not.
Oh, you're a white guy, she says. And he's appalled.
You're like a normal guy.
What?
You're a normal. Oh,
Is
you're a
she
normal
drunk?
guy.
Sorry. No, you can get out of the car.
Yeah. So,
Cancel a ride. That's inappropriate.
yeah. She's like, oh, you actually speak English.
It's completely inappropriate. If somebody was not white sitting in the seat, what would be the difference?
Yeah.
Are
So
you
now
serious?
she's shocked.
said,
and
"Wow,
her
you're a
guy's trying to
white
get
guy."
in too.
Are they
That's
drunk?
okay. I'm not going to take the ride. You guys can get
Unclear.
out.
It is 10:37 at
100%
night.
inappropriate.
Yeah.
You're a fucking asshole.
It's all on camera, man. It's all on
I
camera.
should punch you in the fucking face.
You're going to threaten me.
Yeah,
Assault.
Yeah, fuck you.
Wow. Because you guys are racist fucks.
You're a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Fucking nigger lover.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Ends it with a bang. Yeah.
He kind of proved his
Oh,
point.
is he getting out of the car?
He's thinking about it.
No, I'm calling the cops on you, man.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's all on camera.
I mean-
it's all on camera. Do you guys own the place? Is it your place? That's great. Everyone's going to know.
Yeah.
Fossil's last stand for black people, right? Yeah, fuck off.
So Fossil's Last Stand's the name of the bar that woman owns.
Oh,
Yes.
I like that. This business is going to increase. I fucking guarantee it. I
Yeah.
like they called him racist asshole, and the guy gave him evidence. Well,
Just
5 seconds
confirmed
later.
it.
Yeah.
The it's kind of interesting. Now you kind of wonder if there's going to be some. Now there's been racial hoaxes, Jussie Smollett and whatnot. I wonder if there's going to be a new sort of reverse racist hoax where
Like social justice.
I get the camera up there, then I pull up, then I hire a couple of friends
Who want their
get
lives
in
ruined.
and start saying something stupid, and then I immediately like
People do that. People actually do this. This is a thing. I've seen
they
it. Like,
cook it.
There's so many cooked videos and pranks online. Like
That is true.
A lot of pranks, but I've seen some where this person's being racist to this guy, this dad, and then it cuts to like his kid crying. It's all cut and everything, and people are just going off. And I'm like, this is totally. It's obviously cooked.
Well,
And
this didn't seem cooked, right?
this doesn't seem.
this
Cooked. I don't think.
is
I don't
But
think it's cooked.
here's the question. There's a form of cooking, which is you are having an interaction with somebody. One person is aware we're rolling on it, and the other
Right.
person isn't, because
playing to the camera.
I would be much different in tone and expression if I know we're rolling on this. And he kept referring to the camera.
Yeah.
So I think she was drunk.
She seemed drunk the second she got in.
Yeah.
That's what I asked.
I think he with the beard who dropped the N-bomb, I think is worse than her. I think her.
I would say so.
Yeah, I'd say so. Good. We all agree. Move on. No, what I mean is, like, I think her first thing is she's probably been picked up by Ethiopians and language and trouble or whatever. And then her first salvo was like, oh, white guy. Good. We can talk. Like, her first was a little innocent.
Hers was more casual.
Right.
Racist.
Then
Like, oh,
then
white
it
guy.
spiraled.
Naive.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a Filipino driver, I'd probably speak a little Tagalog over there. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
mabuhay.
Gonna finish that shrimp tail, bro?
Yeah. Well, anyway, so this video goes viral. The bar then deletes its website, its Facebook page. She deletes her personal page.
For the best.
Everyone heads over to Yelp.
Uh-oh.
Just bombs the F out of this bar with 1-star reviews. One review said, let's see. I had it here. One bar said, oh, yeah, are masks required at Fossil's Last Stand, or do customers need to bring their own white hood?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty
good.
funny.
Could have just went with hood, I
Yeah,
think.
we
but
got it.
We know what it is.
That's a
Punch
Guy
it up.
Crafts joke. Go get Eddie Gordetsky.
Well,
Come in here and punch that shit up.
also, there's only one Grand Dragon, and they're in red, so
Oh,
maybe they
that's
were trying to
true.
make that distinction.
Oh.
Yeah, this-
Not that I know.
Did now, in a weird way with Yelp, now you kind of, now that we're into ratings, you know what I mean? So
Everything.
It's
Movies,
like
everything.
Dinesh D'Souza comes out with a movie and it's got 500 one-star reviews. To a certain audience, that's actually,
Yes.
I gotta see this thing.
So are we going to start treating bars and restaurants
Yeah.
that way? It's
Start.
like, oh, those folks.
Dude.
Does it work that way?
Gotta
now?
go Tin Horn Flats. Fucking lean into that shit. Name a drink, the Inner Lover, and just fucking serve regular.
Yeah.
Tin Horn Flats.
Oh, Tin Horn Flats leaned into the controversy.
That's
Like,
true.
yeah, fucking come on, let's go. Hurry before it closes
That's
us
true.
down.
Yeah, but I wonder if you're reading Yelp reviews. Like, I like a racist plumber. He has like,
Oh, yeah.
prefer
How
a
about that?
racist plumber.
Yeah,
There's a
sure.
market, sure.
Yeah.
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 Or just the morbid curiosity. I got to see what all the controversy's about. Why does
Where-
everybody hate this place?
Where is this place?
Pennsylvania.
I don't think I could do it. I wouldn't do it with food, but I would do it with a bar because, hey, you got a Heineken. It's a Heineken. Pop the cap. You know what I mean? Not too much going to go wrong.
Right.
All right, sorry.
And I was thinking, too, when
I'm going to get Sunny. We're going to go out and support that, like the Tin Horn Flats.
Live show in
Fossils
Pennsylvania.
last but stand.
DMZ this weekend. Get out with there.
I was thinking about that, too, when you're filming yourself and how you kind of act differently knowing that you're being recorded. I thought that about Mel Gibson's voicemail. Remember, was
best.
that that was an argument, right? Those weren't just voicemails.
No,
No,
those
that
are
was-
voicemails.
Oh, which is there was
No,
one.
there-
Alec Baldwin's voicemails. Mel Gibson
The-
was
an actual conversation where
recorded.
she's like,
Oh,
"No,
she-
why would
I
you
don't
say
want
that?"
you to talk like that,
that wasn't
And
a
she-
message.
yeah, and she
You're
was
right.
recording, and I always thought like, oh, she's I don't know who.
Donald
what's-
Sterling's girl. They know what they're doing.
Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, like, please, Johnny, don't. I'm just sitting here innocently
Yeah.
while you're angry.
An
Yeah.
unreliable narrator, I think.
But the best lemonade that ever came out of the Mel Gibson was Randy Rainbow's debut video of Mel Gibson as his boyfriend on the phone with him.
Oh, right.
Just get over here and blow me. Okay, so you want to skip dinner then, or
I think he wanted a blowjob in the hot tub, as I recall, too.
He's
Who
only,
doesn't?
he's only one man.
Yeah.
He's only human.
Speaking of race, BLM also
Oh.
in the Twitter sphere because of
Is it really?
Yeah, it came out where all the money went.
The party house?
Let me guess. Not where it was promised.
That's exactly right. Yeah, there's a party house, like a $6 million mansion that was bought with it. But a lot of people are more upset that they donated $200,000. They're not upset about this, but they donated $200,000 to like Trayvon Martin's foundation, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But then they donated just under $1 million to Patrisse Cullors. She was the executive director and co-founder of BLM Global Network Foundation. They donated just under $1 million to her baby daddy.
Yeah.
They donated.
Well, because for quote live production, design, and media.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
and then there's another one for
security,
hundreds of thousands of dollars for security.
$840,993 to her eldest brother Paul for professional security services.
Who has no background in security.
This is like how MC Hammer would just bring 40 dudes on stage just to help them out.
It can go no other way. But the great part, I don't know, maybe Dawson can find a clip. So a couple things. Hey, fucks who wanted me to put a black box by my Twitter a year and a half ago, suck my dick, number one. I knew where this is going. Number two.
I did ask Adam to do that.
Yeah,
I asked if he wanted to do it.
And I said, fuck that.
Like Mel
I know where
Gibson
this
would
is
say.
going.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. They're a grift. Fine. We shut down the middle of Manhattan. We were riding BLM in the middle of the street. Why is it the government's job to fucking do that? It's just another grifter group. Fine. They scared the shit out of everyone. Really, and then people do this thing about BLM. Turn out, look, they didn't help black lives one iota. More black people
Well, they
dead.
helped a couple.
They helped the brother-in-law and the baby daddy. That's
black
true.
lives got improved significantly.
That's true. Then people are like outraged. They're like, well, what about all these companies like Nike and Apple and the NBA, whatever? They took all this money away from them. What do they get in return? Turns out the money was wasted. No, they didn't. Apple bought them. Apple bought some grace. Apple
they
got what they
co-opted the
wanted
message.
out of them. Nike got what they wanted. They all just bought in. Nike, Apple, and the NBA don't give a fuck about who they're helping. They needed to buy some nice publicity. They bought themselves, so they didn't get ripped off. They got their grace.
They got on board.
They got what they needed.
They got what they needed out of it. Yeah, they bought the mansions. They gave it to so it was funny. They were like, we had to give it to my brother to head up security, even though he has no experience in security, because we couldn't trust retired cops or whatever. Use retired
Stay with the
cops.
narrative, yeah.
But since all they do is kill black people, how could you hire those guys that would kill you? That was
You mean
kind
the
of
guys that hang out on the end of the street when they're shooting a commercial on Melrose?
Yes, those bloodthirsties.
Based
Yes.
on our experience at Loveline, there's plenty of people of color who do security. Mm-hmm. Plenty.
Yes, well, that's the whole thing. Like LAPD is now a majority minority. There's more Hispanic, black, whatever than there are white cops. So you probably could have found a couple of retired guys, or maybe some guys who played in the NFL or something. But they got the brother. This
Literally.
could go no other way. Yeah. But when is her name
Patrisse Cullors.
Patrisse Cullors was like being interviewed.
Her name is not Patrisse Cullors.
Cullors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cullors.
She gave an interview Dawson can look for, but she was basically explaining, because the IRS has gotten involved.
Oh, they have questions?
I'll tell you, you talk about a society where everything is being sort of steered toward the racial. The one entity that remains colorblind is the IRS.
Mm-hmm. Green's the only color they care about.
They go after Ted Nugent or Louis Farrakhan with equal vigor. Like their whole thing is, you fuckers owe us money. We don't care who you pray to or what color you are or who's down with what. We want money. Mm-hmm. So she was up there, and she's being interviewed by a moderator, and she was explaining that in the parlance of the IRS, if you're a nonprofit, you need to file a CO3P form or whatever it is. And she was calling that form racist, which I told you, once we go down this road, we can start announcing clouds are racist and calico cats are racist. It's essentially an IRS form is racist.
Yeah.
And then it's this thing where it's like they're going after her because she's a woman and she's black. It's like, nah, you gave most of the money to yourself and your family, and this could go no other way. So I don't care what they do. They do what they do. I mind all the sheep, the lemmings, and the fucking super soft, pliable pussies who just got in lockstep and got right behind them. But you people can fucking blow me.
I like it, but I'm curious, as a naive question, I guess. I was thinking about it the exact other way around. Like the poor masses who thought that the people in charge or the leaders were, doing the right thing. And it's like, well, fuck you guys. We were all supporting, whatever. We were all supporting your message.
Was a noble message.
Right. Yeah. And now you fucked everyone over and made everyone look like an asshole.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, it just goes to show because BLM was a movement,
right?
And then it became a foundation.
Became a corporation.
And who chose them to be the head of this foundation? It kind of fell into it, and they made $77 million in contributions during 2021.
Can there be a class action suit against this?
That's a good question. That's a good Garrigus question.
Yeah. Well, she did an interview with MSNBC.
Let's get the owners of that bar over there in Pennsylvania to be the tip of the spear for we want our $40 back, bro.
Oh, they for sure contributed.
So she went on MSNBC and she said that when $90 million in, quote, white guilt money came pouring into the organization's coffers after the murder of George Floyd, the group had no infrastructure to handle that flood of cash.
So I put it in my account.
And now those mistakes are being, quote, weaponized against her.
She is amazing.
Yeah, she's the
deflecting queen.
Yeah. She says, quote, I'm a human being that has made mistakes that wants to change. I want to challenge those mistakes. I want to learn from those mistakes. And I think what's been hard is feeling like there isn't room and space for that.
No, full stop. I fucked up and I want to change. Yeah. You're done talking after that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
it's rough.
Dawson.
You want to hear about this house? $6 million, 7 bedrooms.
Tell me where.
Got a pool, LA.
Of course.
In the hills, I
7
think.
bedrooms, got
It's a
a
good
pool.
investment.
They got a sound stage, they got a garden, and she was getting in trouble because there were reports of her throwing her kids' birthdays at the mansions and stuff.
There's also
isn't it on the Studio City side in the hills?
Yes, it's somewhere in there, but there's also something, and I don't know how maybe Gina, you do this with your computer. There was a thing where somebody brushed over this part where it was listed for a much lower amount, or some version of it was 1.7 is what they were asking or something, and then she paid 6.1, and something seemed very weird about that aspect of the story.
Well, the real estate agent was her cousin. I think. I'm just kidding.
The headline for the Daily Mail, the first thing that comes up: why did BLM buy LA mansion for $5.8 million from developer friend who paid $3.1 million for it just 6 days earlier?
Oh, 6 days.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go, everyone.
Transaction raises questions, quote unquote.
You bought it. Look, LA. Hey, if you bought it 5.5 years earlier, I could see that. But 6 days. That's quite a markup.
It's great ROI.
Do you? I know. Do you have that?
They might
clip,
still be looking.
Dawson,
But
or
did you see Candace Owens go outside her house and Candace Owens rings her doorbell and through the intercom it's just like, hey Patrice, I'd like to speak to you about these findings on the, and of course she's not picking up, or she's not answering, and then she posts a video crying that Candace Owens is outside of her house trying to talk to her right now, like the worst person that she would probably want to talk to.
Well, if she lived in Florida, it wouldn't be an issue because DeSantis says you can't do that anymore. You can't protest on people's lawns and stuff.
Well, it was just Candace by herself. I don't know how many people.
Well, I was thinking about the protest as it pertained to the Supreme Court justices, and I realized they go to the home or the neighborhood of the Supreme Court justice. Remember, when you're rich, it's a cul-de-sac. When you're poor, it's a dead end. Remember that, kids?
That's right.
And they go to the cul-de-sac, and they all just pile down. And then I started thinking about it. The only family that's not there is the family of the Supreme Court justice and them. They leave.
Yeah, smart.
So now the whole neighborhood is just fucked because they're protesting in front of an empty house.
Yeah, that's funny.
I would be the worst person to live across the street from a Supreme Court justice because I'd just be out with the fucking hose.
You'd be Mr. and Mrs. St. Louis gated neighborhood.
Yes, out the M16,
right.
and you got the pistol, and I'd just be going, what? He's gone!
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if you leave, I'll tell you where he went.
Yeah.
How about that? I know.
All while still in your bathrobe.
Yeah. That's right.
Well, while they're looking for that video, here's another video I want to show you guys that went viral last week. This is a video from a place in, I think it's Florida. It's like Boynton Beach. I forgot to write it down. But car driver, 63-year-old Lori Rabior.
I saw this.
Yeah, she had a medical emergency while driving. You can go and play because there's no sound.
This is crazy.
So this is just the traffic cam footage here. But she's in that black sedan heading towards the camera right now. Fell asleep. So a woman gets out of her car and starts running this huge intersection and is telling everybody to not drive. And she's trying to wake her up.
Wow.
And all these other cars stopped. And now other people from the intersection are running over trying to stop this car because this lady is out. You got a guy.
6 dudes in fatigue.
Military.
Did she like pass out or something? Or
all I know is medical emergency, and she passed out, and the next thing she knows is she woke up in the hospital. So, so rewind it just a little bit back because this is pretty great.
Cars rolling into traffic.
So yeah, you have all these people. That, the girl in the green is like a Publix worker for that market Publix. You have a guy, grocery store, and then everyone stops in there. They break open the window. Before that, this guy tries to break open the window, and he tries to hit it with his bare hand and can't do it. Yeah.
Ouch.
And this is a Florida crowd, man.
I love it. Yeah.
If this was L.A., they'd grab her fucking briefcase and her backpack and push her out of traffic.
A smash and grab while she's sleeping.
Wow. Look, it's my lose your wallet theorem. Most people are good, and then there's criminals. But most of your folks that are like commuting or going to work or coming home from this or going to the market or whatever, they're all pretty good.
Yeah.
They'll jump in and help out because they're not criminals. You think you lose your wallet, you don't lose it, and then a criminal finds it. Criminals go out and fucking take shit.
True.
Most people see the wallet or see the car, and they do the right thing.
Yeah. I totally agree, and I love that experiment you did on the radio show, which confirmed that.
We threw my wallet all over town. That being said, in the sort of concerned citizen department, which I get, I have a car that is a hybrid electric, and you plug it in. You get like 10, 20 miles out of it or whatever. It's no big whoop, but you plug it in. But the way the door works is you shut it like with your finger, the hatch, and it will pop. Takes a little doing to get it to snap shut. And sometimes I fuck up and I shut it and I start climbing in the car and it pops back open. I like where your head's at, but I don't need the guy pulling up next to me going, "Hey man!" It's like, listen, there's not a gas-soaked rag hanging out of it. I'm smoking a cigarette, my arm dangling out the way. Like the hatch is open. Yes, it's affecting my mileage. Well, I get it, but we're on the 210. Like I'm not going to pull a Brody and get off the free. Like I will discover that this flap is open and I will shut the flap. But I like it, but I get it. I know it. I'll find it.
Unless you're pulled up next to someone at a red light, don't do that.
Right.
That's going to cause an accident. They're fine.
But I like where their head's at.
Right.
I agree. And so those Good Samaritans were awarded life-saving awards presented by the police department when they reunited a few days later. You want to do one more?
Is Kirk Cameron going to come in 2 minutes?
Yeah, he should be. I don't know if I didn't get the word that he signed in or anything.
Dawson, that video is not findable.
We're getting close.
Ooh, close.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Well,
Incredibly difficult to find.
What? I thought the internet was ripe with all that.
Well, I don't want to distract Ben, but if you want 60 seconds, I can. You know how you always talk about closed captioning. We don't need sign language interpreters, and what's the problem? I can answer that question for you because, of course, I was watching the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case today, and they have the closed captioning underneath, and they were breaking for recess, and I'm 99% sure this isn't what she said. I was listening, but Ben, sorry, I know you're busy, but can you pop up on the screen what I saw on Johnny Depp Amber Heard?
So they can't.
This is what closed captioning called it.
Oh.
Yeah,
they're doing it in real time.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's just stuff that they can't figure out.
Oh, well, I'm reading the closed caption now.
The closed captions, be ready to fucking.
Oh, really?
That's what I screenshotted.
Wow.
From the trial today, and I just wanted to bring this in as an answer to your question, why don't we just rely on closed captioning?
Yeah, I agree.
And if this is what she said, this judge needs to recuse herself. Because that's very unprofessional.
This closed captioning on YouTube is an algorithm that it's like a machine that does it. But
Yes. Oh,
really?
Don't people type it? Like, don't we have fast enough
I feel like
typers
they
that can
used
just do
to.
that? Yeah.
They used to.
But yeah, this is like in live times, and she wanted to make sure everyone would be ready to fucking after recess.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Well, the closed captioning for this YouTube video will say the same thing.
That's right. All right, let's bring
We're
it
back.
home, Max Bada.
Check out the Water Cooler podcast.
Max Zapata. His real name's Laxamana.
All right, Kirk Cameron, filmmaker, celebrity, and Christian, and all-around good guy is going to be joining us. And we'll talk to him right after this break.
The Adam Carolla Show presents Kirk Cameron's birthday cocktail party for October 12th. Let's see who's invited. It's Italian operatic tenor Luciano Pavarotti. Newscaster Chris Wallace is here. American actress Susan Anton. The singer for the band Tesla, Jeff Keith. Hugh Jackman is here. The track and field athlete who had to forfeit 5 Olympic medals for performance-enhancing drugs, Marion Jones, is at the party. Alpine ski racer Bodie Miller. And renowned Satanist and occult leader, Aleister Crowley. Kirk Cameron on The Adam Carolla Show.
Wow, ended with the Satanist. Well, we'll undo his satanic ways with Kirk Cameron. He's got a new documentary out called The Homeschool Awakening. It's in select theaters. That'll be June 13th and 14th. I watched it last night. I enjoyed it. I realized I'm far too lazy, a parent, to participate in. My kids probably jumped the shark. They're going to turn 16 in a couple of days, but
It's never too late. Come on, man.
there's been a lot of talk, obviously, about homeschooling since the pandemic, for sure, because people sort of de facto homeschooled, but there was a curriculum that may not have been their own. So, Kirk, good to see you.
Well, thank you, Adam. It's great to see you. And Gina and Brian,
Hi
good
there.
to meet you guys.
You too.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, so let's talk about it, and then also talk about just your movie endeavors in general, because I remember Fireproof,
Sure.
Highest grossing independent film of 2008. So
Fucking A.
you found 33 million. It's probably gone up a little since then, but you figured out a way to go, hey, there's a big part of our culture and a big part of our society that's not really being fed entertainment or having entertainment for them. I will be the Walt Disney of that group. Is that accurate?
Well, I like the comparison, but you know, I've been fortunate to be surrounded with a really great group of people. In fact, the guys that actually wrote and produced Fireproof, I was just an actor in that movie. We actually are working together again on a brand new film, which nobody's heard about yet. That's coming out in the fall. But yes, there is a market out there for family-friendly, faith-driven projects that reinforce the kind of values that millions of Americans love and build their families on that are just not being represented. And since that does well at the box office, we see more and more of those kinds of movies. So I think there'll be more on the horizon for sure.
So what are some of the big things that people, I mean, I watched a film and people go, I can't do homeschooling. I'm not a teacher, or I can't do it because I can't quit my job and stay home all day. But dispel some of those notions. Like what are most homeschools sort of done as a pod? Like a group of like-minded people get together and sort of share the heavy lifting?
Well, that's a good question because people do it in all sorts of different ways. And I will admit, even though my wife and I homeschooled our 6 children, and they're all 1 year apart, by the way. So at one point, believe it or not, they were 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2 years old. We had a healthy fear of homeschooling because I thought these were just these fringe people, like you had to be a Quaker or you had to drive a horse and buggy. And, you know, I'm a Hollywood actor and my wife is too. We met on Growing Pains. She looks great in stilettos. Did I have to, you know, get her a floor-length denim jumper and she needs to wear flats for the rest of her life? Do I need backyard chickens? a head covering? How does this work? And what we discovered was that you have urban families, you have rural families, you have families who are traveling as entrepreneurs, and they actually get to stay together intact and teach their children with the entire world as their classroom in a way that fits their family's schedule and their children's learning styles. It's not sort of a one-size-fits-all sort of approach. It is totally tailorable to your children and to the things and values you want them to learn about. So we were hooked once we got started.
Good.
Oh, I was just thinking that I watched it too, and there were a lot of things I could relate to. There were a lot of things I couldn't relate to in my personal life. But when I saw the woman with her child with that big calendar and said like, well, these are the rocks on the calendar and these are the pebbles, I was like, I'm stealing that. These are the things during the day that aren't movable. And now the child has a little bit of empowerment and they're going to put where they want certain things to go. I was like, that's good. That's coming home with me.
Yeah, there's so much room for creativity and individual style. And I think the kids pick up on that, not only from the parents who pick that up from other parents. I mean, the community aspect of homeschooling is just, it's immense, and it's grown over the last 2 or 3 decades. Again, people think of homeschool families as sort of these recluses. I think there was an article that came out a couple of years ago that showed sort of these homeschool families like trapped inside their house with steel bars, and all the other kids were outside playing. Well, really the opposite is true. I've found in my experience from speaking at homeschool conventions all over the country and being involved in homeschool co-ops that our children, if homeschooled well, are the best socialized people because they're not segregated with other kids according to their age, creating this monoculture. It is an environment where the older kids are teaching the younger kids. You're with the grandparents, you're with the grandkids, and you're with other families with different backgrounds, different races, different gifts and talents, challenges and struggles, and then everybody works together as a community, taking online classes. Some kids are going to college in their high school years, getting double credits, scholarships to universities, and they're doing it while they're running a pizza business or while they're getting their pilot's license at 14 years old. It's kind of like, wait a minute, we just broke the mold, we're thinking outside the box, and you're actually teaching your kids what you want them to learn. You're teaching them in the way that they learn best, and you're doing it with other people that are like-minded. It's pretty dreamy. It's challenging, as you could imagine, but it's your kids. And so for the parents who have decided to do it, and are sticking with it, they're finding that they would never go back.
So speaking of home and schooling, where did you grow up? You started acting pretty early, so did you sail all the way through high school and then, or how old were you when you got growing pains?
So I was 14 years old when I started growing pains. I never wanted to be an actor, by the way. I wanted to be a surgeon. I wanted to go to medical school. Love science, love biology. I thought of a joke about telling you that I could tell you what a woman is, but we won't go there. I ended up being an actor at 14 years old when my mom had a friend whose son was on a TV show called 8 is Enough.
Oh, yeah.
And we lived next door to them in the apartment building. And she said, hey, give this a shot. Go see this agent. So we did. I got accepted representation. And all of a sudden, I'm on this show called Growing Pains with Alan Thicke. And that goes 6-7 years. And
did your sister get involved at the same time? At the same timeline?
Just about a couple of years after I started, my sister got involved, and after Growing Pains was well underway, Full House began. And so think of the odds of that, right? 2 kids on hit ABC television programs at the same time.
That's insane.
In the same family. So my dad's a PE teacher at a public school. My mom's at home with us, and we're on these 2 shows, Full House and Growing Pains, at the exact same time. So it was pretty crazy, but it was the only normal that we knew.
Take that, Mastersons.
For me...
So did you...
Say again?
Go ahead.
I was saying, take that, Mastersons. They had the kids who were on, 70s show and knock in the middle.
Did you... So you said you were in the same apartment building as someone who had their kid on 8 is Enough, which is Dick Van Patten's show.
That's
I
right.
believe.
8 is enough.
Were you
That's right.
Were you out here in Los Angeles?
There you
Were
go.
you in one of those apartment buildings that you live in when you're auditioning for stuff?
Like the Oakwoods.
Where was this?
Right. Yeah, I live in Los Angeles. I've always lived here. And when we were kids, like I said, my dad's a school teacher, and so we lived in this nice little apartment building, and I still live in Los Angeles.
Where did he live? I mean, sorry, where did he teach his PE classes?
So we lived out in Los Angeles. I'm sorry, we just talked about that. So my dad taught at a junior high school in Los Angeles, out in the San Fernando Valley.
Which one?
So I would actually go to. Do you know the Valley?
Very
I grew
well.
up in the Valley.
You grew up in the Valley. Okay, so he went to San Fernando Middle School.
Mm-hmm. Which is around.
He was at San Fernando Middle School, and then also at Porter Junior High. And my grandparents were public school teachers as well.
And so you grew up in the Valley or in over the hill?
I grew up in the Valley, man. Right there, Roscoe and Shoup.
Oh my God.
Oh man,
That is a Valley boy.
That is deep Valley.
This documentary is a real slap in the face to his ancestry.
Deep in the Valley. Oh man, yeah. You know, right next to the Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
That was my life after school. riding my bike to Chuck E. Cheese.
So this person
Collecting as many tickets off skee-ball as possible.
a person next to you in the unit next to you had the kid that was on 8 is Enough and said to your mom, who, hey, you got cute kids. Why don't you give it a shot? But you didn't have any acting experience. You didn't have any school plays or anything.
No, not at all. In fact, I was really shy, pretty introverted at the time. And so this whole thing was not something that I wanted to do. I wanted to be at home with my friends playing basketball, riding my bike. But, it was just something that we did. And when I realized that I was kind of good at it, and I did a McDonald's commercial or a 409 Cleaner commercial, I actually worked with Tracy Gold on a McDonald's commercial and a movie with Kurt Russell and Robin Williams long before we were brother and sister on Growing Pains.
Wow.
It was kind of crazy, but it was just one of those things where, hey, once I graduated high school, I was already working. I was an actor. The train had left the station, and I figured, why dump all of this to start a new career and go to college to become a doctor when this may work out fine? And here I am today. I'm on the Adam Carolla show, talking about projects that I love.
Things will get better.
I'm married. I'm married to my on-screen sweetheart who played Mike Seaver's girlfriend on Growing Pains. We celebrate 31 years this year, and we've got 6 kids. And so, man, I'm so grateful. Things could have gone in a different direction for this young former teen idol, and I'm so glad that they went the way that they did.
You said 4 of your kids were adopted, or at least I'm reading 4 of your kids were adopted. Is that correct?
That's right. So we have 6. 4 of them are adopted. That's right.
How did that process work?
Well, let's see, my wife and I were working on Growing Pains, and so we didn't have kids for a little while. And then when we decided it was time to start a family, my wife and I just had a conversation. And my wife herself is an adopted child. And so that was kind of a special thing that we talked about. And we thought, wouldn't it be great? Why don't we adopt some kids? We want to be parents. And these kids need a home. We don't need to be DNA donors here. So why don't we do this? And so we adopted our first little boy. His name is Jack. And it was such an amazing experience that Bella came along, and then Anna, and then Luke. And then Chelsea got pregnant. And that's kind of a funny story, but we weren't even planning on having natural-born kids at that time because we had a full house of 4 kids already.
So you did 4 kids.
These things happen. And
you had 4 before your first biological was born. That's interesting.
That's right. We adopted our first 4 children before we had them the old-fashioned way.
And I'm stealing that too, DNA donors. I think people put so much pressure on themselves and such a premium for reasons I'll never understand. But it's not mine. Oh, they're yours. They're your adopted children. That's your family. You don't have to be a DNA donor.
It's yours like that loaf of
absolutely.
bread is yours in the fridge. You bought it and
I
home.
always felt that adoption. But maybe it's this is too cathartic, but my parents were sort of lukewarm on their kids. They didn't seem to be too fascinated by us. But if you're adopted, it means someone really wanted you.
That's right.
And I just felt like that's the ultimate sign that your two parents wanted you.
Usually you tease the kid on the playground like, you're adopted, but Adam's like, please, someone tell me I was adopted.
Yeah. So you had to now. How's it work? How old do you get them? Are they from abroad? Like how does that process work?
So it's different for a lot of people. There are a lot of adoptions of children from Asia and Europe and all over the world, but there's also a lot of kids right here in the U.S. who are needing homes, and we adopted all of our kids domestically. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that, particularly with what looks like to be the overturning of Roe versus Wade. What's going to happen to all of these babies who are going to be needing homes if they're not able to be raised by their biological parents? There's going to be a lot of babies who need homes, and believe it or not, there's a lot of parents who are just longing for children. And so I think adoption is going to be a great big solution and an answer for a lot of people. And I'm excited about that because the experience has been life-changing for us.
We were talking earlier about Leonardo DiCaprio on your show and how Brian's wife wrote to him when she was a youth, and he wrote back as a youth. And
really?
Yeah.
So first things first, did you write back to your adoring fans?
You write back to my wife, you son of a bitch?
And then also, when you worked with Leonardo DiCaprio, did you see anything in him? Was there like, oh, this kid's got it? And what is Leo? Is he 47 or what's he, a few years younger than you? 8 years?
I don't know.
We got to figure.
We'll have to do a little fact check there. Yeah, he's a little bit younger than me. I'm 51. No, wait, let me get this straight. Who wrote to Leonardo? Was that Brian?
My wife
Gina?
Before I met her when she was about 11 years old.
Okay, I thought you wrote to him.
Oh, I did.
All right, I got the story straight now.
And Leo is 47.
Okay.
Yeah, so there you go.
Leo. So when Leonardo DiCaprio was on Growing Pains. And it's interesting. Brad Pitt was on Growing Pains, and Hilary Swank was on Growing Pains.
He was Brad Pitt was a bad guy musician.
Yes.
And Dick Van Patten was on Growing Pains. Speaking of Age is Enough, it was great. We had Gilligan from Gilligan's. We had all these people.
Bob Denver.
So Leonardo DiCaprio was a young man, probably 14 years old. This was in the later years of Growing Pains. And he was a cute kid who turned out to be a phenomenal actor. And it wasn't that Growing Pains showcased all of his talent as a sitcom, but it was when he started working with Robert De Niro, when he started working with all of these other actors who just demonstrated that he had something very special. He was super gifted, and we understood that, and we were on the sidelines cheering him on as he wasn't able to do Growing Pains anymore, and he was, flying off to bigger and better things.
How was it? How was Alan Thicke? What was it like working with him? I talked to him on an airplane once when we were going. We somehow shared a flight. Let me tell you something. First class used to be a lot more social. You had like bigger seats, more room, you had your own space. There wasn't some dickwad from Coach walking through to crap up your bathroom. You know what I mean?
Got pods.
And you could like hang out. You do a little chilling with the celebrity.
Wasn't there a bar in the front of 747?
Yeah, there would be a bar. There was a pub upstairs in the 747 way back in the day. They had a place called the Pub. But I took some flights with Alec Baldwin and Alan Thicke and all those people, and it's like, you could socialize. Like, if you didn't get yelled at for moving around, you used to like get in the seat and get your seatbelt on unless you're actually defecating. But then it was like, we just roam. Yeah. And you just roam around, and I was talking to him. I think me and Drew were heading to Nashville or something, and he was going there with his young beauty queen wife at the time, and we had a nice conversation. I thought he was a really nice guy. But you tell us how Alan Thicke was.
That sounds exactly how I remember Alan. Alan and I worked together for 6-7 years on Growing Pains, and I actually spent more time with my Growing Pains on-screen family than I did with my own mom and dad and my sisters, right? Because I know I'm only 16, 17 years old, but I'm working 9 to 5, an adult job. And Alan was just nothing but kind to me, nothing but kind to everyone on the set. And there was not only me, but my little brother, my little sister on the show, Leonardo when he was little on the show. And I would always go to him for advice if I was going to be on a talk show. I remember going on the Tonight Show and asking him, Alan, what do I do? How do I answer these questions? And he's like, tell stories. Everybody loves stories. Or if a cute girl was going to come onto the set to play Mike Seaver's girlfriend, I would be so nervous. I'm like, Alan, I don't know how to act. I don't know how to be cool. Everybody thinks I'm cool, but I'm not. And he said, hey, don't worry. And he would sort of give me the lay of the land, and he would calm me down. Stay calm and trust your TV dad. That was his motto.
He was Canadian, was he not? Because
he's Canadian, right? He was on a show called Thick of the Night.
Oh, my God, he was the host, syndicated talk show, nighttime talk show. Yeah, I have a theory, but it's kind of a Alan Thicke. Like there's a Howie Mandel. There's kind of a Canadian nice.
Sure.
There's something about the There's something about the Canadians, the stardom doesn't go to their head like it does the Floridians and the Californians. Like, we get a little juice right to the penthouse.
Right.
Somehow they remain friendly.
Their heart's still in the Yukon territory.
I guess it is. So you grew up on that set. You grew up with Alan. And a lot of people say that about their sitcom families. They kind of de facto become their replacement families, at least to some degree, because you're there all day. Yeah. I mean, were you schooled on the set?
Yeah, we were schooled on the set. And you know what I think? One of the blessings of having Alan Thicke and Joanna Kearns as my mom and dad is that they really valued being parents, and so they understood. If our kids were on the set like this, we know how we'd want people to treat them. And so they treated us like a real mom and dad. Candace had the same experience on Full House. I say this just because some people have never made the connection, believe it or not, even though her name is Candace Cameron Bure, they don't know that Candace from Full House and me are brother and sister. She had the same experience. There were so many parents there that they had an environment that was just very conducive to raising healthy kids. Yes, I was schooled on the set of Growing Pains on the Warner Brothers lot in a little trailer, and it was great. I mean, we went to school 3 hours a day, and we're able to cram everything into those 3 hours that normally would take 7 hours or 8 hours because you don't have 30 kids in the classroom. You got one teacher and 3 kids.
Well, that's sort of a foray into homeschooling.
In a weird way.
Yeah, you get to do all this in a compressed time.
It is. I never thought of that at the time, but you could actually, on days off where we didn't have to work, we could bank hours. So we'd work 8 hours, and then the next day, we didn't even have to go to school because we were able to work at our own pace and get ahead. So it was a great free-form way of schooling, and I actually loved it and got used to it. But you're drawing a connection to homeschooling there that I think is absolutely accurate, and I didn't even think about that until right now.
Alan used to sing, and I think he did some theme songs too, if memory serves.
Did. That's right. He was a jingle master. He wrote the theme song for Different Strokes, I believe, and also the Facts of Life.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you hear both those songs, you'll go, oh yeah, I could see that.
And if he were never to do anything else, that would have been enough.
Yes.
That's a big accomplishment.
I concur. Well, the movie's called The Homeschool Awakening, and it'll be in select theaters. That'll be June 13th and 14th. And if you have questions about homeschooling, you're flirting with the idea or just flirting with the notion of homeschooling, this is a must-see. If you're a single gay man, it's still entertaining. But I think this is more for the group that is considering going down this road. Really compelling. really well executed. And Kirk, we hope you'll come back on when the follow-up to Fireproof comes out, and you like to discuss that a little bit.
Yeah, I'd love to discuss that, and thanks for letting people know about the Homeschool Awakening. I'd like to just add that it's only in theaters for 2 days.
Oh.
So get your tickets early. It's June 13th and 14th only in movie theaters. And you can check out tickets at thehomeschoolawakening.com.
Thanks for the info. Kirk Cameron, everybody. Thanks for joining us. All right, we'll take
Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Gina.
We'll take a quick break, come back with the news right after this. Christy Bishop's on line 1 to talk about her fangirl mail to young Leonardo, I believe it was. Christy?
Hi, guys.
Hi, Guy. So what age were you when you sent the fan mail to Leonardo?
I just looked this up for verification when Brian texted me out of the blue, and I think I was 11. It was like 1991 or 1992, so 11 or 12.
Prime growing pains years.
And he wrote back to you.
Yes. So Leo's helper wrote back to me, but it was a handwritten note, responded to my handwritten note, and they complimented my envelope because I spent a really long time drawing on the envelope so it would stand out naturally. Overachiever that I was. And they wrote back and complimented the envelope, said they were so happy that I loved or was in love with a young Leo, and sent back a friendship bracelet that I still think I have to this day at my parents' house.
Now, are you at home now? Are you working from home?
No, I'm at a haircut.
I was going to ask you to go to the bedroom and lift your pillow up and get the letter out so we could hear it verbatim. But...
Exactly. I still have it somewhere. It's in a box. I'll have to find it.
Honey, I teased I talked about your interaction. You somehow had an interaction with your two crushes at a young age, Chris O'Donnell.
Oh my God, that was a magical moment. I was 16, my 16th birthday, and my parents had like a little brunch for some friends. I remember going outside. It was at a hotel, and one of my friends was like, "Chris O'Donnell's at the front." So I booked it through the hotel and made it to the front, not knowing what I was going to do. And my friend took care of it for me, was like, "She loves you." And the first thing I noticed was he was way shorter than I thought he was going to be in real life. And he came over and he gave me a hug and he kissed me on the cheek and said, "Happy birthday," and went on his way. And it made my year. And until right now, I had completely forgotten about that.
Did you do that move that was in a trope of every 70s sitcom? "I'll never wash his cheek again." It was like a Marsha Brady thing, like Davy Jones would kiss her.
100%, I'm sure I did that. Yes.
Wow.
And I'm sure I slept with the letter from Leo under the pillow for quite a bit.
Oh,
no shame in my game.
Yeah. Well, we were going to put up a picture of the three, young Bald Brian and young Lee.
Now, which one's Leo?
It's a stark contrast. It's visual.
So many pretty boys.
Is that O'Donnell on the right?
No. Yeah, it's hard to tell. I got to get up. I got to get closer to the screen. It's so hard to tell.
Chris, do not send that to Chris.
Thank you for the verification. We appreciate it, Christy.
You are more than welcome. All right. Have a good show, guys.
Take care. All right.
I don't want to do the news. I just want to look at those pictures for the rest of the show.
We'll put them up at mcarolla.com. There's a contrast. There's
barely.
Dawson found the video of Patrice Cullors
okay.
Talking about the IRS. This is last month in Washington. Sorry. Triggered by our IRS form. Yeah, there's ones of her calling it racist, but we'll find it at a later date.
It's so funny. These words that we're supposed to have, like racist, we're supposed to have such a big impact on, like, when there's no other way to describe something. I'm telling you, I'm having a panic attack. I am having anxiety. I don't know how else to tell you. And now that doesn't mean anything. Or I can't go to this thing because
triggering.
Yeah, and this person was gaslighting me for years. I couldn't leave my marriage. These words don't matter anymore.
Yeah, well, I've always kind of talked about it where it started very early on Loveline. I started noticing it. It was like blind, and it was like, I'm seeing impaired. And then I was like, I don't know what that. My grandfather's seeing impaired, but that just means he can't drive at night. But he's not. He can see movement in front of him, but he's not blind. Like, are you blind? Then that went into it turned into rape survivor versus rape victim. And then we started just to bleed it out into everything. Assault turned into threatened. So there was a kind of like, I felt very threatened. He felt threatened. So Richard Simmons made the professional wrestler feel threatened at the terminal at the Arizona airport. Like, you were threatened. You felt threatened. I felt triggered.
At least with visual impaired, there's some way to measure that. All this other stuff is very improvable.
And that's the thing. That's exactly.
Yes. And you water down people who
Al
are
Franken assaulted that woman on the aircraft.
Those words are because there is no other word in the English language that will make it make sense like that word. And now that's just interchangeable with 20 other conversational words.
With racism, the IRS form is racist and misogynistic. Like, I tell people all the time, be careful because it's going to lose its meaning. No one would bat an eye. You know, Elon Musk is racist. You know, everyone's racist. Everyone's something. It doesn't. It's fucked out. You can't keep going for the morphine button.
Right.
You can go for the morphine button every hour or so to relieve the pain. If you just keep plugging on it like you're a winner at Jeopardy, it'll lose its effect.
Yeah.
You'll get numb.
There's no difference in Elon and the guy in the back of the Uber.
That's right.
Same thing. Both small business owners.
That's right. Entrepreneurs.
Well, there was that horrible shooting in Buffalo, and we know what happened, and so we didn't get into just the headline, but there are some interesting things coming out of it, and I'll give you two of them. So the alleged gunman in the Buffalo mass shooting that killed 10 people and injured 3 has been indicted. A grand jury has handed up a single first-degree murder indictment against the 18-year-old. I'm not saying his name. I didn't even include it, don't care. Though more indictments are sure to come. The guy is accused of opening fire inside a supermarket in a racially motivated spree. But here's a new side story that's coming out that is, I would imagine, other people's next worst nightmare. Meanwhile, this survivor of the shooting says that a 911 dispatcher hung up on her as she hid from the gunman in the store. So she's 33, Letitia Rogers. She's an assistant manager at the Tops Market where this happened. And she says she called 911. She was ducking under the customer service counter. She's trying to whisper so she doesn't attract the attention of an active shooter. And she says the dispatcher hung up on her because she was whispering. So she called her boyfriend, asked him to call 911 and tell them what was going on. The Erie County Central Police Services said the dispatcher who took the call has been placed on administrative leave and are seeking their termination.
You be the girl, call, be the boyfriend.
Okay.
This is the kind of boyfriend I was.
Okay.
Hi, baby, are you there?
Who is this?
This is Letitia.
Oh, my girlfriend.
Yes.
Yeah, hey.
I need you to do something for me, and it is time sensitive.
I'm making an omelet.
No. Put down the omelet. There is a shooter in the store. You have to call 911. They hung up on me.
Oh.
She said she couldn't hear me.
You're at the store?
Yes.
They have chorizo there?
Probably, but that's not gonna. That's
this
not
is omelets missing.
No. Forget the omelet.
I got the bacos, but it's not
listen
chorizo.
to me. No. Shh. Hang up on me.
Oh, done.
No. Wait.
I gotta flip the omelet.
That was only step one. And call 911. Tell them they got to send somebody.
They got chorizo over there?
I mean, it's top. So yeah, we have it.
No, I mean the 911. Can they help out with this?
No, they need to come to the store.
Can't you just get the chorizo?
I'm going to try them again. I think it might be faster. Okay, love you.
Okay, but not too spicy. Oh. Where was I?
You unbelievable piece of shit.
I'd probably finish what I was doing. It wouldn't be like cleaning the garage or something like that.
You wouldn't start a new task.
If I was making breakfast, I'd go, let me just finish it. I'm going to burn it. Yeah.
Yeah, then it'd be two tragedies.
Yeah, that story's interesting. And I don't know all of this, but there was a security guard. And again, just the bits and pieces you hear. They had a security guard. He had a gun, and he shot at the guy. And the guy was wearing body armor. And then he killed the guy who was shooting at him. And that to me was like, I don't know what you can do. There's 330 million people and there's 400 million guns in circulation. I'm not sure what we're going to do to stop people from getting guns, but maybe the body armor thing's an angle because this guy, at least as I heard it, and this is all just the fog of war, but there was a security guy, probably, off-duty cop or whatever, retired cop, whatever. He had a gun, This guy came in and he shot the guy, and it hit his body armor, all according to the news. And obviously, it didn't affect him because he had the body armor. And then he turned and killed that guy.
Jesus.
The sick part is that you make a good point. And what kind of society are we in? We say, well, we better put our Kevlar on then.
Well, I'm saying either give it to every citizen or restrict the sales to law enforcement and military or whatever.
Yeah, it's fucking scary.
Of the Kevlar or of the guns? You're telling
Kevlar.
Okay.
Guns, they're already out there.
But don't gain any weight.
Oh, that's right.
Because
That's
you
my
only get the
policy.
one
Yeah.
Kevlar. Let's talk about North Korea and COVID because it's been 2 years now and they're finally getting in the game. Because until now they said, what's
zero
COVID?
cases,
yeah.
Yeah.
So Kim Jong-un.
I like when countries do that. Like, oh, in in Taipei, 0 gays. We have no gayness.
Chechnya.
Yeah, we flushed it from our ranks.
Yeah.
There's no gayness going on.
Yeah.
0.
We win.
Yeah,
That's
Florida
Victory.
stopped reporting COVID deaths a long time ago. It's like, fuck it, we got 0.
Yeah, we got 0.
Well, Kim Jong-un liked the cut of their jib, and but now he's criticizing his own government, slamming officials as a COVID-19 outbreak has accelerated across North Korea. At least 62 people have reportedly died. 700,000 more are in quarantine.
We lost Gilbert Godfrey and Bob Saget.
Louis
and
Anderson.
Louis Anderson. Do any of these dictators ever die? You know what I mean?
No, and Kim Jong-un was like on death's door a couple of years ago, right? Supposedly.
A lot of speculation about that.
Remember the story
Yes.
got reported he
Yes.
died. It's like, he did?
Somebody would just, we checked on him in the morning and he was dead. He died in his sleep. I mean, forget about assassinations
Right.
and bombing attempts and poisoned food. Like, these
Just
guys
things.
just die, like poor Alan Thicke. You know what I mean?
Well put.
It's just dying. I can't. This is
Apparently, they're not on the death
like
radar.
I'm going to be on my deathbed telling my 48-year-old son, "I'm sorry, but Putin, you have to deal with Putin when I'm gone." Like it's just going to they just go on in fucking perpetuity. Like there's not like a snowmobile accident or something. They just none of these guys. The top heads of the world's worst republics, they never seem just to die.
That's
All
true.
he eats is cheese, and the fucker's
Right.
still alive.
That's right, and he's lactose intolerant.
Well, the outbreak forced North Korea to admit the presence of coronavirus inside its borders for the first time in more than 2 years since the rest of us have been doing it. And as if the people's lives inside North Korea weren't scary enough, they're now in quarantine. So they, I imagine, don't have any food or prospects and can't leave the house.
Ugh. What? I
Those ones
I
have
know
done
I
enough.
say, but what year is it?
That's a
It's
good
just
question.
So goddamn weird. Hey, and then I mean, you get 1,000 years ago, everything was sort of mechanical, and you could sort of pull this stuff off because folks in North Korea wouldn't have known what's going on
Right.
in Sweden or
No way to know,
Canada
yeah.
or anywhere else,
Right.
but they must see a commercial for like a sandals resort or something somewhere and go like, what the fuck? Who are these people? Like, where is
this
this?
is imaginary.
What's going on?
Doubling down on that statement, the Pyongyang has already turned down a lot of offers for the vaccine through a global COVAX consortium. Like, we don't care what your politics is. We just want your people to be vaccinated. And they're like, what COVID? We don't have it.
Well, it's a way to track people.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right,
Can't
exactly.
trust that. Hey, I know it's not your news, but speaking of what fucking year are we in, was Brittany Griner still in Russian
Yes,
prison?
she is.
The basketball player?
Yes.
She's still
She's
in there?
still in. I think they said they're keeping her another month and they want to trade her for some like high level military foes of ours.
Can't we do what they do when a mayor of one team, Boston is playing the mayor of is playing LA, and they
You
go,
bet a
"Well,
pound of lobster.
well, we'll give you lobster and some Boston baked beans." Like, can't we give them we'll give you a Land Rover, we'll fill it with Cheez-Its. Like, come on, at a certain point, it's got to be worth it.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And they allegedly, why she's in prison, because they found a vape cartridge on her. No clear ruling if it was hers,
Midnight
but
Run, Overnight
somebody
Express.
found it in her bag.
Yeah.
It's the darndest thing. So, yeah, she's still being held.
We got to go with an American car, by the way. Range Rover's not going to work.
Oh, right.
Okay.
And just on a side note, the people of Russia are suffering a lot because McDonald's is packing up and leaving for good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ugh. What is going on?
Days get darker.
That's true.
So weird.
Cosby going back to trial.
Yeah.
Again, after a year after being released from prison, he's going back. This time, I know you guys love this, disgraced comedian is being sued for allegedly
I think it fits in this case.
Yeah.
assaulting a woman at the Playboy Mansion when she was a teenager. So we're going back. This week, a judge declined to dismiss the case, so it's going to civil.
They wanted it dismissed because her complaint, I
Yes.
think, was she was 14 and then she bumped herself up to 15.
Yeah.
It was either 15 to 16.
I think it's the other way. But yeah, so
I thought she went up. Well, either way, they went, she can't remember when
You're right.
she was raised.
Yeah.
We got to throw this out.
Judy Huth, she's the accuser, changed the details of the story. She said one time it took place in 1975, then she said 1974.
Man, the best in Playboy, the best issues was like the Christmas issue, the Bunny Olympics issue.
The college issue is pretty fucking
College
sweet.
is strong. College is strong too, but they would
Don't
have
make that noise.
They would have the Bunny Olympics.
What's that?
And it was like, there were
Don't act ignorant.
They would do. There was awesome, is what it was.
Yeah.
Were
So
they doing real like track and field events?
Modified.
It was a kind of a tough mutter,
Sure.
a tough titty mutter.
There were girls on shoulders.
Little
that I
obstacle
recall.
course, and climbing over this inflatable thing. And
Did they have a lot of sweatshirts that only went to here, so it was like all under boob?
It was like
don't cheapen the experience.
what it would be is it was. They would have like an obstacle course and stuff set up at the Bunny Olympics. And then at some point they'd have the roller boogie, whatever, that was on the tennis court. The net would be taken down and they'd be going around. And Bill Cosby was like always the sort of honorary, he was the Howard Cosell kind of, he was the referee and the commentator,
Master
and he'd have the
ceremonies.
tennis hat
I'm
on
sure.
with the whistle in his mouth, and he'd be sitting up on the judge's scoring thing, and you're out of bounds, lady, and he'd blow his whistle.
Sure.
And it was, I'm 14 and sitting in the San Fernando Valley, and I'm looking at this like, oh, Bill Cosby.
You're
like,
4.5 miles away.
Yeah.
Was this televised?
They may have filmed it for like the Playboy channel, but this was.
Or they'd offer like VHS, like for $19.99 you get the.
You can probably
Bunny's
find
Gone
the
Wild.
Bunny Olympics from like 78 or 9 or whatever.
I'd like to see that.
And Bill was always there presiding over everything. And then like at the end, like pages in, maybe they'd show them all in the jacuzzi with their boobies hanging out, having a drink. Like, hey, at the end of a hard day,
Sure.
shaking your tail feather, you got to do this. But I was just like, oh, Bill Cosby's hanging out all day. But he probably went into the night. It's like,
Oh.
as I now think about it.
Oh, yeah.
And Bill's probably sitting up there watching, Miss January with the Bataka bat on the log over the moat going at it with Miss March going, I think I like that one.
That's
I'm
right.
going to go chat her up. And then you got to think of them. They're 19 from Arkansas, and fucking Bill Cosby's coming by.
One of the 10 most famous people in the world.
Wants to hang out.
That's
at that
right.
time.
He has to have, hey, where's Miss January? She's sleeping. Oh,
Right, yeah.
Which room?
Yeah.
So some bad news for him. Some good news for a couple of guys.
But that was at the Playboy Mansion, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone should ask her parents what the 14, 15-year-old
I'm sure
Very
they're still
good
around.
question. Wait, remember, this is the same era as, oh, Brooke Shields, you're so pretty. When she's like 11.
There's a whole
Topless.
There's a movie with Jodie Foster
Yeah.
called Foxes. It was
What
like
about
young,
Taxi Driver?
Young chicks,
13-year-old
young hot
prostitute.
chicks. It was a whole
And Pretty Baby.
thing. It was all this weird. Yeah, well, Roman Polanski's in the hot tub with the 13 or 14-year-old. Like, it was a
Yeah.
cultural
Look at the
thing.
dudes who were making those movies.
Right.
Right.
Right. Well, couple of nice guys are getting out of prison, and couldn't happen to two better people. the notorious Fire Festival creator Billy McFarland and Pharma Bro Martin Shkreli have both been released from prison on the same day, placed into halfway house programs. So just to jiggle your memory, McFarland, he was the one who's partnered with rapper Ja Rule and conned investors and failed to deliver on anything that the festival promised. You know, it was like supposed to be like a luxurious, like crazy luxury VIP party weekend concert in
There were two
Exuma.
documentaries that came out within a month of each other.
That's right.
Spectacular.
They were great.
I have a weird thing where I'm not outraged by that.
I thought it was pretty funny.
It's like just kind of well-to-do people that are seeking pleasure getting fucked.
That's
like
exactly what I
feel bad
said.
for them and all that kind of stuff, but there are things like, we had was a bologna sandwich. Like, you're still alive. Like, Union Carbide killed a bunch
It's
of
not
people.
tragic by any stretch of the imagination.
Everyone's with you. This was the Schadenfreude. This was everybody loved this.
He defrauded investors who were in jail.
For sure. And my feeling is I would much rather work on a restitution type angle than we need to incarcerate you. But
the Wesley Snipes angle.
Yes.
Right.
Pay your taxes.
You're clearly capable of making and or raising millions of dollars,
Right.
so do it for charity.
Right, exactly. And then Shkreli, he was the Pharma Bro. He was convicted in 2017 of lying to hedge fund investors and embezzling as a means to repay them. But what the rest of us chuckleheads remember him for is his company Turing Pharmaceuticals obtained the rights to this life-saving medication used to treat toxoplasmosis, which I thought you got from like cat shit.
poop.
Yeah. Anyway,
I've seen
it's-
Trainspotting.
it's and like pregnant women and people with AIDS and all this stuff, and I guess raised the price from $13 a pill to $750 a pill, and that was a bad move when it comes to a jury of your peers, just the public.
They hate that.
So they're out, and we wish them both the best.
Yeah, well, speaking of Amber Heard, she was going to donate her $7 million bucks, and then she's still going to do it, but she can't do it
and
anymore.
the Children's Hospital. Well, that was funny because they were like, "And where's the money?" And first of all, I'm pretty sure Elon, when she was dating him, she got him to start throwing money at the two charities.
Oh, he put in $500.
He did, just as a placeholder.
I like the people that use the timeline as the argument.
Yes.
Like where they go, you got this money 4 years ago. You were going to donate it to the ACLU and PETA. Why didn't you do that? I can't. I'm being sued.
That's what she said.
That's 10 days old. We're going back 4 years. It's like saying, it's like your wife walks in the kitchen. It's a mess. Goes, you said you were going to clean the kitchen. I can't. You're in the way.
You're standing here.
talking to me right now.
I've been gone for 9 hours. Yeah. Well, how am I supposed to get to the broom closet with you standing there?
She said.
I love the timeline argument.
She said, and I quote, "If Johnny would stop suing me, I could pay them." And by the way, what argument is that? Because that money was earmarked for something else. So in that case, it's really not your money to spend on a lawyer.
We have the Playboy playoffs from. I'm thinking of a '70s thing, but
sorry, it's 1983. It says 1983 is the only year it was held.
We'll take it.
But I don't know if this is what you're talking about.
Oh, that's Jim McCann from Far Out Space Nuts.
So the guys don't have to be attractive. So we've talked about pranks in the past, and Gwyneth Paltrow's company Goop was really dragged on social media for selling these expensive luxury diapers because that's something that Goop would do. That's a very Goop thing to do. And apparently she wasn't serious. So I guess she pulled a prank on everyone for, now that I've got your attention type of thing. Here's the video.
It's a lot of outrage. Good. It was designed to piss us off because if treating diapers like a luxury makes you mad, so should taxing them like a luxury. The diaper is a fake product meant to shine a light on a real problem. Despite the absolute necessity of diapers, in 33 states, they aren't treated like an essential item. They're taxed like a luxury good. This leaves 1 in 3 families struggling to afford them. While eliminating the diaper tax is not a complete solution, it could allow many families to pay for another month's supply. Join Goop and Baby to Baby to help change the tax and provide millions of diapers to families in need. Head to the link in bio to donate and learn more.
She says they're taxed like a luxury item, but aren't they taxed like a candy bar too?
Well, You go ahead.
How's that
please,
work?
by all means.
No, well, I was going to say I had the same question. I mean, are things that is a Rolex taxed differently in a different?
Well, there's sin taxes
Right, but
for
that's
like
cigarettes.
alcohol and cigarettes, and I'm not sure what they are for. I don't think a Rolex and a Rolls Royce are taxed any differently. But
I was under the impression that things like, for example, baby formula are not taxed, but for some reason she's claiming them 33 states, which I did not know. The diapers are, which you could argue that's not fair.
I just thought if you live in a state with sales tax, it's
my
taxed.
argument is if you buy 6-pack or a candy bar or diapers, it's just you're taxed. That's the state you're living in.
They've made the same argument about pads and tampons.
Well, that's luxury.
Well, I know we
dare
do
you.
this thing all the time where it's like, who's gonna? Well, then how are you gonna feed your kid? Or like, how are you gonna clothe them? It's like, I don't know. You're the parent. Fucking start getting your shit together, people.
Yeah, and maybe think of moving out of Texas and Oklahoma, or you're not going to have a choice.
Or move somewhere that doesn't have taxes.
Yeah, I mean,
Like Oregon.
If that's going to make or break you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
I think there's a rich person version of poor people that is like the difference between taxing and not, the thing of Pampers, $13 and 86 cents of it is tax, or $1.25 is tax, or it varies, depending on where you live.
That's funny.
I don't think that's I don't feel like I used to be poor. Everyone I knew was poor. My family's exclusively poor. Like that wasn't factored in. It was like the big thing was no eating out.
Right.
And we have to be miserable. But that thing was like, we don't have access to whatever. It's like, we always got it.
That's funny.
It was just.
That's the other side of the coin of how we think of rich people, because remember the guy who asked people in Manhattan on the, East Village or whatever, like about how black people didn't have IDs.
Right.
And then you go to Harlem and the guy's like, I got my ID. She's like, what are you talking about? Here's my ID.
Ami Horowitz. Yeah. The black people are like, what do you mean black people can't get an ID?
IDs.
What are you going to do without an ID? You can't be here without an ID. How would that work?
So it's that same,
no, we do have a poor
cloud.
person and a black person and Hispanic. Like, here's what these people can't take care of, whatever. It's like, they do. They figured it out.
And is that $1.12 going to make the difference? I don't know.
No, I don't think so. But in general, lowering taxes. I mean, what does kick the shit out of poor people is $7 gallon gas.
Yes,
that kicks the shit
Indeed.
out of poor people. Yeah,
yeah. This is an interesting lawsuit, and I feel like once this gets out, this is going to be class action territory. So maybe bring it up to Mark. I'm not sure. But this family of a 12-year-old boy is suing Apple, claiming he has permanent hearing loss after wearing his AirPods during an Amber Alert.
I don't like frivolous lawsuits, but that fucking Amber Alert
is terrifying.
They come in at 10. They come in hot. And also, sorry, we need a second alert, because every single one of these, the child has been abducted by his biological dad, who got fucked in the divorce, and he's taken her home a day late from a custody weekend or something. That's not snatched up in a primered van.
Right. Well, the family filed the suit this week and accused the company of negligence and fraud, claiming the boy's life has been severely altered. And their claim is interesting.
Did you guys get the alert on your phones? It's LA specific. And over the weekend, there was something like fire in so-and-so.
Yes.
So-and-so
Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase. That was it. And it was deafening. And then they corrected it, saying, sorry, it was just training exercise, with the same fucking volume.
Yes.
Yes.
The kids were like, sorry to scare you. Wah, wah.
Chris says you can turn them off.
You can turn off the Amber Alert, but I got that evacuation notice.
I did too.
The other thing he got, now the kid claims he's got tinnitus.
Yeah, or tinnitus. I was told I was saying it wrong when I said tinnitus.
They always called it tinnitus.
Okay,
they just
great.
change it. Once everyone can pronounce it, then they
change
don't
it
like
again.
the fact that lay people can pronounce their medical
Right.
shit, so then they change
My
it.
mean dead grandma says it's tinnitus.
Oh, my grandmother said it's clitoris, not clitoris, by the way.
That's right.
Where's he wearing those earbuds?
I had this funny... I had this funny discussion with my sister, which is we're having a laugh about my grandmother, how she used to correct the shit out of everyone. And then she's saying that my mom's helper, I think Filipino, by the way, Max Spano, my mom's helper was also my grandmother's helper, back in the day. and she was telling my sister stories of my grandmother constantly correcting her grammar and her pronunciation.
For the person that's
although she
holding your health in
speaks
his
with a
hands.
Filipino
First-generation immigrants.
Yeah, she has a Filipino accent. My grandma, like from her deathbed, was coaching her up.
This is for you.
I said, oh, God damn it. Just fucking leave it alone. Also, but believe me, it's not just them in love with elocution. No. It is not. It is a way to control and stifle. I used to walk into my grandmother and she'd go, how's it going? I'd be like,
not good.
Good? I mean, well,
not good.
Fine. I think we've spoken enough. Like, I was scared to talk because she would jump in and fix your shit every 4 syllables.
That's right.
And it was really just, you just have dominion over all that's around you. But I didn't know it trickled down to the Filipino caretaker.
That's horrible.
It's her second language. All right. Anyway, that's my grandma. She died doing what she loved.
Exactly.
Just correcting,
Till the end.
correcting people.
Well, this kid claims to have tinnitus and dizziness, has to wear a hearing aid. He's 12. TMZ reports that to take it a step further, the parents had known that the AirPods played extremely loud alerts that didn't match the selected volume because there are tons of comments about this online. They say the complaints go back 3 years. So I think there could be a class action suit.
Well, and also the thing about tinnitus, it's invisible. So it's like back pain. It's like, what are you going to do?
But if you have it, it sucks.
No,
I've seen documentaries about people. It ruins their life.
It would drive you insane.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is if you're 13
That's
and you
true.
say there's a constant ring in my ear, how we can't get
Who are
out
you
the
to say there
scope
isn't?
and check you.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring it home.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news. Be ready to fucking.
Gina Grad.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
That's what
Well,
Grandma's helper said.
last but not least, there's Geico. Do you love to save a little money on your car insurance? Well, yes, you would. And who wouldn't love a deal? When it comes to great rates on insurance for everything, Geico can help. Insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, RV, even your homeowners and your condos, insurance as well. Save more with their special discount bundles. Plus, add the easy-to-use Geico mobile app for 24/7 roadside assistance when you switch to Geico. It's a no-brainer. So go to geico.com, get a quote, see just how much you could save today. All right, Huntington Beach, Sea Legs, that's tonight. Everyone doing the live pod over there.
I'm leaving after the show.
I should have left already.
Going to Denver, by the way, doing the Comedy Works South. Sonny's going to be there as well.
And if you're going to Huntington Beach tonight, get there early. Dawson will do some stand-up.
Well, there you go. We're doing Denver, June 24th, 25th. Kirk Cameron, all-around nice guy. The Homeschool Awakening in theaters just June 13th and 14th, so check into that. And until next time, Adam Crow, Gina Grad, and Paul Bryan, and Kirk Cameron saying mahalo.
If anybody ever travels outside of the U.S. and you go to the Middle East or you go to Mexico, anywhere, if you go into a kind of a bazaar type place, please, Americans, just
respectfully,
they expect it.
Yes.
But then you do the math. By the way, you do the math in your head. Sometimes you're like, wait a minute, the dollar to the peso. Wait a minute, I'm negotiating over 33 cents.